In the grand scheme of things, gameplay for FIFA 23 can't change too much. At the end of the day, it is still a football simulation game. But with that said, EA have already showcased quite a bit of gameplay whilst highlighting some of the biggest changes so far, with there still being quite a lot of news which is yet to release. In this video, we will be going through the biggest changes so far with goalkeepers, defenders, and also attackers. But before we do get into the video, if you're looking to get some very easy coins, then there is no better place than Mule Factory. Head over there to get yourself some cheap, fast FIFA 22 coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic 5 at checkout, you'll also get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. And getting back into the video. When talking about gameplay, especially at this stage, it's all good highlighting all the new gameplay mechanics, but at the end of the day, they are just talking about all the good things about the game. The biggest deciding factor whether or not gameplay is good comes down to once we get around to the release and people are allowed to play it. Everything up until this point is just highlighting the key features. Whether or not they're good, we'll still need to wait and see. So starting off with FIFA 23, the building off of HyperMotion with HyperMotion 2. This is where there is twice as many real-world motion capture as they played 2 high-intensity matches, plus on top of that there were training drills that they went through. One problem that they faced last year with FIFA 22 was that even though they went through a high-intense match with motion capture, there were certain things that were limited. There are certain events which only happens once or twice in a match, and with those events, you're going to get a lot less animations compared to everything else. That's why this year there was 2 matches in total, hoping that it increases the chances of some of those events happening, and even if it wasn't, they did go through a number of different drills just to force them, and this gave them the animations that were needed. On top of this, motion capture was also done with women's football. And as far as I can tell, they also played 2 separate matches. All in all, between the games that were played, EA have said that there is now more than 6,000 new animations added to the game for FIFA 23. Now the reason that we're talking this for gameplay is because this does cross over into every aspect in which we will be talking about. But I do also want to take the time to highlight that last year when HyperMotion was added to FIFA 22, I felt like I did notice a difference. I enjoyed playing the FIFA 22 beta and did compare both FIFA 21 and FIFA 22 behind closed doors because I wasn't able to show gameplay footage of the beta at the time. Once the full release of the game came out, I also still felt like I noticed a difference, but unfortunately, I started to notice a difference, especially after the first patch where it wasn't actually good. It was actually much better not to have HyperMotion, and that is when loads of players went back to previous gen just because it didn't have any. Gameplay felt a lot better on previous gen compared to next gen. And I'm hoping it won't be the exact same this year, although EA does have a track record of completely messing up the game with their first patch. So with this, we just need to wait and see. So now actually going into the specifics, starting with goalkeepers. With goalkeepers, reaction time is now based on their vision. If their vision is blocked, they will have a delayed reaction as they dive for the ball. Of course, this is more realistic, but at the same time, this doesn't actually sound like a good trait. The only thing that I've heard so far about goalkeepers being improved for gameplay wise is with HyperMotion, they're more likely to come out and push players out the way just to retrieve the ball. And they're going to be a lot better at doing that compared to what we've had in previous years. The other announcement with goalkeepers is that you also have finger physics, which doesn't actually make gameplay better, but of course, yet again, it links back to what we just said about it being a bit more realistic. Moving on to defending, there are a few improvements with gameplay. First one is machine learning jockey. These are new animations used for defending. You can already jockey within the game, but with FIFA 23, there's a lot more new animations, making it smoother and more responsive. You now have more control whilst you jockey to better align yourself with the attacking player's run, ready for you to make a decision by putting a foot in when you feel like it is best timed. It also seems like there is another layer to this, because on top of this, with all the new animations with hypermotions, defenders have also been boosted. So whilst you're jockeying, and you will see this in quite a bit of the gameplay, there is more animations for elite defenders. So you can be jockeying backwards, and if the attacking player somehow managed to do a body feint which threw you off a bit, there's certain animations that can be used to recover and better get the ball whilst as a defender, even though you have just been done by the attacker. These will be animations where it could be a quick turnaround to go and retrieve the ball as a slide tackle, or it could just be crossing your heels as you try to reach and get the ball. If you're not looking for composure with your defenders as you jockey back to try and retrieve the ball, you could always just go in with a new hard slide. This is a new slider mechanic which is just designed for you to charge in, slide tackle, and boot that ball as far away as possible. Get it out the danger area. Now this has been implemented to counteract with a new shooter mechanic which we will talk about within a second. But as a player is building up to take their shot, this is when you can use one of your defenders to also build up a hard slide where you can boot that ball away before they actually get that shot off. Now, for a lot of the changes for gameplay that have been revealed, they do fall under attacking. This has been the way that it's always been every single year. So firstly, with attacking, there is improved quality and responsiveness to dribbling. Yet again, linking back to HyperMotion 2, there is a lot more animations which now allows you to change directions a lot more quickly. Animations blend seamlessly together so you can actually interrupt your dribbling. With the ball at your feet, if you decide that you want to do a body feint to the left, only for the defending player to actually realize that you're going to be going in that direction and you want to backtrack, you can quickly change your right stick from left to right, and you will be able to blend seamlessly with those animations. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but with this it does mean that you do have more control. This also somewhat crosses over into composed ball striking. This is also new for FIFA 23. Composed ball control was implemented last year with FIFA 22, but this year it's been expanded for you to set yourself up nicely for a better shooting opportunity. It's an extra touch that you can take in a number of different ways just by creating space, better settling that ball, ready for you to have a better scoring opportunity as you're through on goal. And with this, you can power it up with the new shooter mechanic, which is Power Shot. This is the new risk and reward shooting mechanic. Now, I have tried to research into this, but currently I'm not too sure whether or not this replaces time finishing, but I would assume it does. Time finishing is already a risk reward shooting mechanic, and I really don't see there being a need for another one when time finishing is supposed to improve the accuracy and also improve the shot power. It gives you a much higher chance of scoring a goal if you time it correctly. It seems like Power Shot is the exact same thing, except you can put a lot more power behind it. Now, these are the main gameplay changes which are coming for goalkeepers, defenders, and also attackers, but there are also some other changes with gameplay. Set pieces have also changed up slightly. Penalties now have a timing mechanic on top of you selecting the power and direction. You still need to aim in a direction that you want to be shooting, and you still need to be putting power on the ball. But there's also a part just before where you do need to time that closing radius as close to the ball as possible. The closer you have it, the more power you can put behind the ball, giving you a much higher chance of scoring. Free kicks have also changed. You can now have a lot more control whilst using the right stick so that you can choose exactly where you want to hit the ball. This gives a lot more control as you try to curve it around the wall, or even in some cases pull it under the wall. If you're defending a free kick, you can also decide whether or not you want someone laying down behind the wall just in case someone is going to try and do it. And the final changes to gameplay that has been revealed is skill moves. For a lot of it, it's just improvements based on whether or not you got a left-footed player or a right-footed player, because now players will perform skill moves based on their preferred foot. This doesn't make them better at skill moves, it just brings more realism to the game more than anything else. EA have also said that they have improved fake shots and body feints as there is more animations for them, so they're a lot smoother, and depending on the player that you're using, there will be a bit more specialty behind them. If, say, Mbappe uses fake shots in a certain way, you're going to see more of that within FIFA 23. And the last thing that has been shown is the heel fake to ball roll, which does look very clean from what has been shown so far. I would say that if you use this, you're probably going to fool quite a lot of players and you're going to be able to get around them. But I also know I've said that in previous years before for other skill moves, only to never use them. Anyway guys, these are some of the biggest changes so far with gameplay with what has been revealed for FIFA 23. I said it at the beginning, but it is still way too soon to judge. Of course, we can see what's there in front of us, but at the end of the day, EA is probably playing on very good gameplay with there being no button delay whatsoever. So actually seeing all of this stuff implemented into the game, especially once we get round to Sunday, very slow and sluggish weekend league gameplay, it all depends whether or not any of this really matters. But with all of that said, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are these good changes or are you hoping to see something a bit more? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.